Welcome to the City Show. Pat O'Melia here, your concerned resident there. That's why I do this show, because you're concerned and we like to inform you. Today we have a special guest, the mayor of Jersey City, stopped by for an interview. You'll see that as soon as we come back from commercial. Later in the show, after the Fulop interview, we're going to talk about a special election debate that we'll be producing here in the North Bergen studio for Ward D in Jersey City. As of right now, there are 5 candidates running for Ward D. How many are going to be here? I don't know. As long as we get at least 3 of them, we should be in good shape. When we come back after the interview, we're going to talk about vote by mail again. You know, we want to kind of hold off on that stuff. You know, I just seen a tweet from Jersey City Councilman James Solomon, where he's shown putting his ballot in the ballot mailbox. We have, like, I think it's 27 some odd days to go before the election. We're doing a debate next week, so Solomon has no idea about these candidates. Again, he's not in Ward D, so we wouldn't be voting for him. We have at least 2 more presidential debates coming up. You have a vice presidential debate coming up. There are so many campaigns that are going on. Now, everybody's focusing on the presidential, of course, but you have congressional seats, you got the assembly, there's freehold there. There is a whole ballot of information you need to hear and get before you cast your ballot. You need to be an informed voter. Now, in the case of James Solomon, he jumped the gun. Election day is November the 3rd, and you can vote in person. I believe in Jersey City, 27 school up in the Heights is going to be an on-site ballot voting area. Again, they're going to be counting these ballots till after November the 3rd, so you can wait until like the beginning of November to mail it in. But let's break for commercial. We're going to come back with Steve Fulop. You're watching The City Show. I'll be right back. Consumer Carpets, 3408 Kennedy Boulevard in the Jersey City Heights, your one-stop store for residential and commercial floor treatments, carpeting, linoleum, tiles, laminates, hardwood floors, area rugs, remnants, all major brands, all in stock. Free estimates, same-day installation. Consumer Carpets, it's savings, selection, installation. Credit cards and debit cards accepted. Financing available. Consumer Carpets, price to fit your budget, installation to fit your schedule. On the net at consumercarpets.com. Consumer Carpets, Jersey City, 201-792-2712. We're back. New segment here, meeting with the mayor. Hopefully something we can do about once a month, and of course the mayor would be Steve Fulop. It's actual, I have a real guest in here. After with COVID, everything's been remote.
Good social distance.
You got it, yeah, well, it's almost 6 feet. Got a daughter coming?
Yeah, next week. I think next week or the following week, but we're close, so yeah, a little girl.
Could you wait any longer on the house renovations? She could pick the colors if you wait a little longer.
It's probably going to be a next year project, but yes, we are going to try and improve a little bit the space that we have.
By the way, does it bother you that renovations became a story in Jersey City?
It bothers me because I view it as we did nothing different than anybody else in Jersey City, and we're in line with our neighbors, and it's sometimes frustrating that becomes a news story as if it's something improper or different than somebody else might have.
You know, we just, did we pass Daniel's law, or are we promoting it? Booker and Menendez were pushing it. It was about the judges whose son was. Yeah, well, let
me tell you, I called the Jersey Journal on that because I don't appreciate them putting my house in the newspaper. Yeah, and they say that they view it as relevant news. And I said, you can cover whatever you want, but look, I have a baby at my house. Yeah. I've had a stalker that broke into my house, I view it as totally counter to their mission to put people at risk by doing that. And they dug in on it. So they say people like to see that stuff, and it is what it is. They said actually in 1 year, the highest clicked stuff, I think it was on the Jersey Journal online, was when they posted pictures when I bought my house of what it looked like inside prior to the renovation. And because I guess people like seeing that stuff and they click on it, but at the same time, seeing somebody's house and being able to put an address with them could put people at risk. So I wish that they were more responsible, but you got me totally off subject.
You're a rock star, so that's why.
I don't know about that. They do it for everybody, and they shouldn't.
Well, they're gonna put the law through that privacy for the judges, prosecutors, and law enforcement. Somehow they're going to eradicate them from the net. they're not going to be able to do it in the print media. And the piece I did on the Tom's River show recently, that should be afforded to all of us, especially people in elected office.
I agree. I couldn't agree with you more.
And you already had a scare. You'd see what with Joe Montana?
Yeah, I mean, look,
very similar to what almost happened with you.
We had somebody who broke into our house, and we're still going through that process with the courts. And clearly, that woman has mental issues, and we're trying to figure out a solution that is fair for her, but at the same time keeps my family and my wife and my son and my future daughter safe.
Well, that's scary.
Yeah.
Again, you're the rock star in Jersey City, but I'm on television all the time. You get somebody with some, whatever reason,
crazy agenda, and
we should all be afforded that privacy. You
Yes.
watched the debate?
I did.
What did you think?
I mean, I thought it would be. Look, you obviously hope for something more presidential. It felt like my father and my uncle like yelling at each other.
Well,
is what it felt like.
It didn't surprise me at all.
Yeah, I kind of felt like yesterday Joe Biden could have made a statement, and I think people would have appreciated it, that it was embarrassing for everybody. I thought he was more likely to do that as kind of a statesman, and whether it's apologizing to the public or acknowledging how they both looked, it would have gone over very well. The president obviously would not have done that.
No, he's not going to do that.
But
actually, it was Biden that started the interrupting. He did it first.
I don't know. I don't know if it was Biden. I think it's not who did it first. I think it was both of them, and it didn't look presidential. And I think that when you have climate change and equality questions and policing issues and questions around the economy, I think the public deserves a more thoughtful dialogue.
As somebody who's moderated numerous debates over the years, Chris Wallace let it get out of hand.
You think?
I think so. If that was happening with me, either I was going to shut off the mics or I'd say, that's it, guys, we got to go.
And what if he didn't have the ability to shut off the mics? And you have 80 million people watching, right? And so
Fox would have been a little upset, but this just got out of control, and it didn't serve anybody.
I didn't know. I don't know what recourse he had in that situation. I think shutting off the mics, he would have been criticized. Walking off, he would have been criticized. So he was in a no-win situation there. And I think it was impossible to control those two guys. Impossible.
Well, they're talking about shutting off the mics in the next one.
Yeah. Well, they're talking about it, and we'll see kind of where they ultimately land, because I from what I was reading, the president's team was pushing back on that, and the vice president's team, I don't think, said much, but the president's team was saying these are the rules. Why do you need to change the rules? You agreed to these rules, et cetera, et cetera.
Well, you've been in many of the debates. We
been in my
had
share.
some candidates that kept going on and on and on. I thought it was good entertainment. I was laughing at some of the stuff, but none. See, I have some sort of history with Donald Trump. He used to own the New Jersey Generals. Now he had season tickets with him.
Okay.
He owes me $54.
Okay.
Still from the New Jersey General.
Okay.
So we used to interact. We'd get letters from him and all the time. And occasionally you would see him at Giant Stadium.
You are not going to see that $54.
Yeah, no, probably not.
Yes.
For that matter, the previous mayor, we were naming a building in Jersey City, Trump Tower or something.
Yeah.
And I told Mayor Healy, "Oh, good, I'm going to come down and get my $54.
Yeah.
Healy said he'd have me locked up if I showed up.
Yeah.
I'd break for commercial. You're watching the City Show. My guest is Mayor Fulop. We'll be right back.
Newport, the luxury waterfront community on the Hudson River, offers the quality of life you deserve in 10 high-rise rental towers with amenities such as the on-site Newport Path subway, light rail and ferry service, Newport Town Square, 3 playgrounds, dog run, upscale restaurants, retail giants like Sears, JCPenney, Macy's, and Target. Morton Williams Supermarket is just outside your front door. A health and fitness club, spa, skating rink, and medical facilities are also on site. NewportNJ.com. Enjoy the New York skyline from Newport Town Square. Manhattan is just one path stop away or quick ride through the Holland Tunnel. Nursery and private elementary schools all on site. 12-screen movie theater at the Newport Center Mall. Want to visit Newport? Stay at the Westin or Marriott Hotel. Go to NewportNJ.com for details. Newport has luxurious towers, great restaurants, shopping, New York skyline views, schools, playgrounds, a marina and yacht club, gym, spa, fine wine, fine living. It's incredible. It's you. NewportNJ.com. Newport, live like you want.
We're back. City Show. Pat O'Melia here. Mayor Steve Fulop there. Kudos on a flat budget.
Yeah, that was good. We have a good team. I'm thankful that it worked out the way it worked out. We've put a lot of work in over the last couple of years, kind of restructuring a lot of things. it's been a tough year, and I'm thankful that we're not adding to the hardship that people are already experiencing.
Did it surprise you the state couldn't do the same thing you did? Because Jersey City is like a small New Jersey.
Yeah.
It's probably the biggest city in the state.
Look, I think I'm not as in tune with the state budget, so I'd be speaking out of school on where they could significantly reform. It is frustrating that you see pork projects still a part of the state budget, which were widely reported, and that happening despite the fact that they are borrowing billions of dollars and raising fees and
Today
pretending
the fuel
that
tax just went up.
pretending hardship. So I think that if you were going to go down the road of borrowing and raising taxes, you also have to be at the same time simultaneously cutting some of those pork projects, which didn't happen. So
Well, that's what you did. Now, as I give you props for keeping your
Yeah.
budget flat, I had to ask you about the MUA.
yeah,
They jacked it up 18% water
Yep.
and sewer.
Yep.
Who do I call about that price gouging? Because you'll run out to a dollar store
Yeah.
if they're charging
Well-
$10 for a hand sanitizer.
Let-
But I just got hit 18%.
yeah. So was it 18? 9%?
9% on water, 9% on sewer. When I open the bill, it's 18%, Mayor.
Okay, well, let me say this, okay? We eliminated the cost of living adjustment that was happening every single year. So there was a standard increase that was happening prior to me. And when we came into office, we stopped that, okay? And at some point, the cost of the infrastructure that we are doing at the MUA does need to be covered. And we are doing close to $500 million plus worth of work.
Oh, I see your sewer projects and water
it's throughout
projects
the
going
city.
on through the
So
city.
that's separating sewer systems, that's
Rainwater and
runoff issues, that's flooding issues, and it's expensive stuff. So, maybe it would have been better politically, if you kept the cost of living situation that was prior to me. But at the end of the day, we tried to limit the hardship. And you can't do that in perpetuity that have no sorts of increases. So it was this year, and I don't think that the MUA could avoid it. But you should get Joe Kuna here.
Are you still investigating taking over the water department like we used to, and eliminating
No.
Suez?
No.
Because Suez is making money on the
No,
water.
I
Why
don't
can't
think.
we?
I don't think you could eliminate the MUA. We eliminated a lot of the autonomous agencies. I don't think you could eliminate the MUA just because they have a massive amount of debt, and I don't think the city could cover that. So the structure that exists today with how the MUA for decades has been paying for bonding to do improvements, it's not something the city could cover in our structure today. So bringing the MUA into the city is not really going to happen.
All right, what about picking up garbage? Should we go back to doing that ourselves? Because I find it odd we had no other option
Yeah.
besides a company that is awful at picking up trash and recycling.
Yeah, there's problems there. I think that the issue is that the size of the city, Jersey City, there's not a lot of vendors that can handle that, right? So you need 40, 50, 60 trucks that can operate on any given day. It creates a very, very difficult situation with regards to finding somebody to bid on it. There's very few number of companies that could bid on it. So then you get to a point where maybe you could divide up the city into different vendors, but then it becomes more complicated with different companies picking up on different routes, and how do you enforce that? And one might have a problem, or one may think that their vendor is inferior to somebody else. You really want to have kind of a uniform situation. Then to bring it entirely in-house is very, very expensive to do, right? And you have a lot of cities that have it in-house looking to do it the way we do it, actually, right? So there's no perfect situation. I think that the best way to handle it would be that the city forces the vendor today to just do a better job of cleaning up and on collection, and then people would be happy.
Well, one of the problems is there's no money in trash now. Going
Yeah,
back
well,
years
that's
ago,
for
they-
sure.
They actually paid you
Correct.
to pick it
Correct.
up. That's
Yes.
it completely
Yes.
changed.
Yes.
We're going to break with commercial soon. Then I want to get into the CCRB.
Yeah. Let's talk about it.
That's been on your table for
Yeah.
quite a while.
Yep.
I've had some opinions on that.
Yep.
But I'm at this break now. We can set
Yep.
the clock. All right, we're going to break for commercial. You're watching The City Show. Rock star Mayor Steve Fulop, Pat O'Melia here. We'll be right back.
Pen and Pencil Properties, Jersey City. Shaping the workplace with state-of-the-art office spaces that address your company desires. building residences that define your home environment, adjacent to all modes of transportation with on-site parking available. The right address, the right lease. Call 201-521-9000 or visit online at panapintoproperties.com. Panapinto Properties, building Jersey City for everyone.
Rama Jewelers, located in the Lyndhurst Shopping Center at 413 Valley Brook Avenue, Lyndhurst. Come for all your jeweler needs at Rama Jewelers, where you will find a fine selection of necklaces, earrings, rings, and bracelets. Choose from one of our complete sets, our many signature items, or find the perfect engagement ring. Come on down. That's Rama Jewelers at 413 Valley Brook Ave, Lyndhurst. Call 201-939-5784 or visit us online today.
We're back. City Show, Pat O'Melia, Mayor Steve Fulop, CCRB.
Yes,
Somewhere along the line, we're probably going to get one here
as
in
we
Jersey
should.
City.
As we should, or I think we should.
The problems in other parts of the country, whether it's in Minnesota or
Yep.
Kenosha or in Portland, they're not our problems. These things don't happen in Jersey
Yep.
City, and there's a reason for that. And part of you're the reason. It's your management of the city, Mike Kelly, Shea,
Yep.
our police force. Even if our guys make a mistake, our police force is going to even arrest their own people.
Yep.
Do you think we really need a CCRB that? Now, I had James Solomon on recently.
Yeah.
His, in my opinion, would be weaponized, the CCRB. That is
Okay.
with one purpose, to
Yeah.
attack our cops. You're going to have 9 investigators. Do I need actually 10 with the chief
Yeah.
investigator?
Yeah.
Do I need 10 investigators 7 days a week with the Jersey City PD?
Yeah.
I sincerely doubt that.
Well, let me start by saying that we've been advocates, the director and I, and talking about the CCRB and Community Review Board since 2013, 2014, since many of the people that are speaking about it today became vocal. Prior to that, we were talking about it. And at the time, we instituted an advisory board. We talked about what we would like it to have, investigative powers, and we were going to wait for Newark to go through the courts. And this was earlier than anybody outside of Newark. So it went through the court process with Newark, and it was found not to be legal, the structure they had. So we actually
By a 6 to
handled it.
1.
Yeah, we handled it properly from a city side, doing what we could do, and being a vocal advocate for it. And then once we found out what the courts were going to decide on the Newark structure, we've been vocal and working with Assemblywoman McKnight on reforming it and pushing proper legislation down in Trenton. Do I think it's necessary, and do I think that we have the same problems that some of the other cities have? It is necessary, and no, we don't have the same problems that other cities have. I'm thankful that we have good leadership in the police department. We have a great police department. We've seen crime being driven down to record lows year after year. But at the same time, when you look at data and information around accountability, there are some holes and some gaps in how police officers have been disciplined when complaints happen. And it isn't productive to have a system that doesn't include a neutral body of accountability. So a CCRB would be a good function. Now, I think there are other issues that I've touched on as well with regards to police reform in New Jersey that I think that often get overlooked. How internal affairs investigations happen, who gets to see them, what the process is from the start to conclusion, how contracts for chiefs get promulgated. Those are all things that often get overlooked by the public in the conversation today around police reforms that would go a long way to changing the culture of policing in New Jersey and improving it. And I think that you need to do all of those things if you really want to make change.
I suggested to you when I spoke to a
Yeah.
few other Hudson County mayors, we're fortunate there's only 12 municipalities in Hudson County.
Yeah.
Maybe we have a county-wide CCRB.
Yeah.
Every mayor
Yeah.
gets one pick. Maybe you give DeGeese in the county one pick, so you
Yeah.
have 13 members.
Yeah.
This way we spread that cost, because it's not cheap. You're talking over $1 million for
Yeah,
this.
yeah. Let me say that the problem with some of the proposals today are on the construction of the board and who gets to sit on the board. I agree with Councilwoman Ridley that I have a problem, and Mayor Baraka for that matter, the mayor of Newark, and Assemblywoman McKnight, that there is a fundamental problem in designating a specific nonprofits to have a seat on that board. Because many of those nonprofits have their own conflicts of interest, whether it's lawsuits with the city, whether it's funding from the city, and it would be entirely unfair and not neutral to have an individual with a conflict of interest disciplining police officers. So furthermore, I would say that when you specify demographics, as where some of these legislations have, you get into a point of saying, why are you putting the Puerto Ricans there specifically and not the Dominicans and not the Indians and not the Filipinos?
That's a slippery slope.
We have a very, very diverse city that changes rapidly, and you need to have a board that is flexible to change with that.
Well, the other thing, you created a very diverse JCPD also.
Yep.
And you're,
Yep.
what is it, coming on over 8 years now?
7 years,
7
coming on
years.
8, yeah. Yeah.
Defunding the JCPD. We only got a few seconds left.
Yeah,
That ain't gonna happen.
No. The police department do great work, and I think that we can invest in social services and at the same time invest in a police department that keeps people safe.
What's the magic number for the PD? You're looking at like 1,000 heads?
You know, we're 950 to 1,000 has been a number that we feel we can properly deploy officers to accomplish things that we want to accomplish. At the same time, we've been restructuring the department and augmenting the uniformed police officers with other resources, as is the conversation nationally. But I think we're doing it in a careful way. We're restructuring in a methodical way, and the results speak for themselves.
All right, we're out of time. I'd like to try to have you do this once a month where we
Okay.
can actually do a whole half
I'm
hour.
open to it, Pat. I'm open.
Well, you
I'm in-
gotta
I'm
get
in
here.
it. I'm
I
in
would
it.
have done it remotely, by the way, but
No.
it's great having you in studio.
In person
All
is
right.
better.
We got to
Thank
let
you.
the mayor of Jersey City go, but you heard him. He said he'd do this once a month, meeting with the mayor. I'm Pat O'Melia. We'll be right back.
You know those times when you need to see the doctor, but you just can't get to the doctor? So where do you go? Go to the App Store, download the Telemed app from RWJ Barnabas Health, and you see the doctor right away. From any mobile device, whenever you want, wherever you are.
Quality care, no appointment necessary. The doctor is online when you download the Telemed app.
Don't you feel better already?
RWJ Barnabas Health. Let's be healthy together.
Good Friend Self Storage in North Bergen, New Jersey is a fully climate-controlled facility equipped with state-of-the-art security, packing supplies, a Refer a Friend program, and multiple loading docks convenient for commercial use. Located just off of Route 3 at 4301 Tunnelly Avenue, Route 1 and 9. Call 201-867-2444 or visit us on the web today. Good Friend Self Storage. Let us be your good friend.
We're back. You're watching The City Show. That was the mayor of Jersey City, Steve Fulop. Of course, the main part of that interview was the CCRB, the Civil Complaint Review Board. If you follow on Twitter, the chief of police in Hoboken, Ken Paranti, he was speculating, does Hoboken need a CCRB? Do we truly need a CCRB? I guess it wouldn't hurt. You know, by the time legislation comes out of Trenton concerning CCRBs and it's the lobbyists and who wants it, who doesn't want it, it'll be interesting to see what the language is. In Hudson County, as I said in the interview, we're fortunate. We're small enough that we can have a county-wide CCRB where no one municipality has to shoulder the expense. In Jersey City, that CCRB is going to be like $1.5 million a year. We got better things we can do with $1.5 million a year. But if we spread that out, you know, if Guttenberg's got to have one, North Bergen's got to have one, Hoboken, as with Kent Parenti, Bayonne. As I said in the interview, there's 12 municipalities in Hudson County. Each mayor designates an appointee. You can give the county one if you want. They do have the sheriff's department there, so you can have 13 members. And it spreads the expense. Plus, you know, there's no leaning either way. There's 12 municipalities, you got 12 members representing each one. So it isn't stacked against anybody. I honestly believe that's probably the best way to go, but that works for us here in Hudson County. You go to Ocean County or some of these other counties, Bergen County, there's a lot more than 12 municipalities, but that can work for us here. Whatever comes out of Trenton with the CCRB rules and regulations and authority and power, it's not going to be a perfect fit for all of the municipalities in New Jersey. It's going to be one of those one size fits none. So best, in my opinion, we get ahead of it, start a countywide CCRB, and transparency rules. Just that, again, with our PD in Hudson County, especially in Jersey City, I'm not really in favor of it. We got the IA, we got the prosecutors, we got the state prosecutors. And keep in mind, you pay already for all of that. So how much more do you want to pay for? Also on the ballot, it just popped in my head, is the marijuana, legalizing it. Yeah, I really don't have much of a horse in the race. My only problem with legalizing the marijuana is the taxation of it. If Murphy and Sweeney and the gang would come out and say, we are going to designate the tax revenue from marijuana to offset property taxes, I'd be all in favor of that. But that's something I still got to get some more information. I don't think I'm voting for legalizing marijuana, only because we're going to legalize it. Who's benefiting from it? If you're going to designate all the proceeds from the taxes to offset property taxes for the people of New Jersey, that makes sense. But right now, it's just going to go into the black hole that is the state's budget. Like I said, the Ward D debate, that'll be on the 15th of October. We have 5 candidates. I just ordered 2 new podiums that we'll be assembling. We'll be prepared for 5. John Hennis, the immortal one from Hudson County View Live, the show we produce here, Thursdays at 2 o'clock. He'll be moderating it. That's what you call tricking John into do the moderating instead of me. I'm pretty sure we'll have at least 3 of the main, I don't want to say main, but we got 3 main candidates in my opinion. Rafi Torres, he's run before in Ward D. He's been in this studio in the last debate that I moderated. You got Cynthia, you got Pat Marusi, you got Youssef. The top 3 are Youssef, Pat Ambrosi, and Cynthia Hygienist. Those, I tell you, I really don't recall a debate where you can almost say you have 3 candidates, even though Youssef's the incumbent, he wasn't elected into that position, where you have 3 candidates that are pretty much on even footing there. Cynthia has a long background with all the civic organizations here in Jersey City, especially in the Heights, so she's going to have a lot of loyalty. The Pat kid's been working hard in the Heights. He's part of the Leonard Gordon Association. And Youssef has done a lot of work. I really see those 3 candidates almost even going into this. So it's really going to be an interesting campaign. It will be an interesting debate. Again, right here on this very channel, Channel 190 here in Jersey City, 6 p.m. We'll be live. There'll be a 5:30 to 6 pregame show, sort of. I'll be hosting that. I'll see if I can bring the mayor in there, because we want to focus on what the real issues are facing the Heights and Jersey City. Remember, our councilman is going to vote on issues facing the entire city, but of course his main concern should be and will be Ward D. Jersey line, if you're following me on our football bets, it was a rough week, but I won 8-7 for the year versus the spread. I'm 36, 23-2, so I'm doing all right, but it was a scary week. Amazon's coming to Bayonne. Welcome to traffic, Bayonne. All right, that's the show. I'm Pat O'Melia. You be good, you be safe. I'll talk to you next week. Good night.